what keeps me up at night is I feel personally responsible for not only the 210 folks that work here, but I feel personally responsible for the probably 600 to 800 individuals that rely upon 5-Star to provide them with the money they need to pay the bills, to pay the mortgage, pay the rent, to take care of family.
What's up, everybody? We're here with another special August monthly company recap for the Off the Clock podcast. We're here with our CEO, Christian. What's going on, Christian?
Hi, Jared. I was checking the date. I love when we do these podcasts and we're still in the month.
Yeah. So behind the scenes, folks, we try to plan this so I have a little bit of time to edit the podcast and release it the first week of the month.
I just like giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Christian.
The podcast is really good.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
I keep thinking about this. We're doing this podcast. It's meant to be internal, but we keep putting it out externally, which is great. And I keep thinking, like, what do I share that, because what if a customer listened and we're talking about, like, how do we go into a house and talk to our consumer base and all that stuff. But then I decided this morning, I was like, you know what? Let's just be super transparent, good, bad, and ugly, because this is not a perfect business, and we're not perfect people. We're imperfect as can be. So I don't know. I just wanted to tell you that.
I feel like customers really appreciate the authenticity and genuineness that we're, communicating to the public too. And it's like, we're not hiding anything.
Oh, also, real quick, can I do something real quick?
Sure.
Hey, Dad. He's in Austria.
Okay.
And he's been there for like months, but he listens to the podcast and he fact checks me.
Wow.
Yeah, he called me up and he was like, you said something on the podcast that wasn't technically true. And I was like, I don't know. As a kid, I remember the best I can.
We may have to eventually one day bring him on and
you want to bring him on?
Do a father-son. That would be interesting.
It would definitely be interesting. Yeah. Christian, why are we doing a podcast? He's from Austria.
That's good.
So he sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I was like, is Christian doing his Arnold impression?
I was doing my dad's impression, which my dad and Arnold sound the same. So.
Yeah, okay. So Christian, speaking of home and family, I know this summer you had an anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I hope you had an anniversary.
No, we did.
Okay, cool. I thought
wedding anniversary.
Wedding anniversary.
Yep, August 7th.
And I saw that you and Amy actually.
Where is it? Oh, yeah, it's right there.
Oh, nice.
8-7.
Nice.
I forgot where it was.
Yeah, like it's somewhere on it. And I saw that you guys visited Maine, which is where you've said you've grown up.
Yep. It's not where I said I grew up. Jared, I did grow up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. For all you guys who don't know, Christian grew up in Maine.
I did. I grew up in Maine.
So what are some must-do activities when you go home to visit? Any type of like family traditions that you try to check off the list when you're home?
So I would say this trip, it was less about family tradition. It was more about Amy has never been to Maine. So this was about her experiencing Maine for the first time. So we hit a lot of the Maine hits, like the things that any tourist would want to do when you go to Maine. So we went and started pretty far. It's funny, it's north, but it's called down east, so it's like we were in Camden, it was like a tiny little fishing village. Spent a night there, and then on the way down to Portland, we stopped by Freeport, which is where LL Bean is. And if people aren't aware, like LL Bean in Maine and in many parts of the country is like a massive brand, like a Patagonia style brand. And when you go to Freeport, which is where they're headquartered, the whole town is LL Bean, but it's beautiful and crazy, insane. It's so nice. And so we spent the afternoon there, and then we spent a couple days in Portland, like on the bay, did a lot of walking. It's a very walkable city. Ate a lot of seafood. Had a couple lobster rolls. Hit all the hits. I really wanted her to hear somebody with a thick Maine accent, because a Maine accent is a very specific thing. It's not quite Boston. Boston accents are their own thing.
Can we hear it? Do you have
yes, I can do an accent. So it's like over there's a wicked good gas station. It's a wicked good one. That's got it. So it's like Maine. It's like Boston with they always have like a shh in there. Like, I don't know why they sound like that. And then, but they don't say their R's. And my favorite part of the whole trip was Maine has a very heavy Native American history. So a lot of the towns and a lot of the rivers and things have crazy Native American names. And asking Amy to guess how you're actually supposed to say things was my favorite part. We were just driving around. I'd point to a sign and she would have to say it. And she got it wrong like 80% of the time, which became hilarious. And we were having a blast doing that. And then we finished our trip. I know this is going long. We finished our trip. Nobody wants to hear this. At a Red Sox game.
So, Christian, we're just wrapping up the summer months. August is officially closing and fall is beginning. OSU's ready to start playing again.
Let's go.
If you had to describe August in one word or phrase, what would that be and why?
I've been thinking about this one. I'm going to say Cedar Point because it's been a bit of a roller coaster.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, August has been a crazy month. So it's like we started off with a lot of tailwinds. And then somewhere like around the middle of the month, not quite the middle of the month, we just kind of lost focus. I mean, like, and that's what I was talking about earlier with like, how much do I want to share on this podcast?
Yeah.
But like, I'll just be really transparent. Like, our team lost focus. We became complacent. We started to believe our own hype. And that's one of those things you have to be careful of, because it's like, I want to talk about how great we are. I do think we're great. I think our people are great, but you got to stay humble. And you got to remember that if we're not getting better, then we're going to start going backwards. And that's what happened. I think two things drove it. I think it was we had such good weather on our side for so many weeks in a row that we just kind of took our foot off the gas a little bit. And then, like I said, I think we started to think we were pretty awesome, and the competition couldn't get us, and then the competition made us shift, and we didn't adjust fast enough.
Yeah.
That then led us we kind of went around and, as if you've ever heard me talk about kicks, we kicked some buckets. Actually, I told you that analogy the other day. We kicked a few buckets and we got people refocused and re-energized and reminded everybody that there's only two things at 5-star, and there's sales and sales support. So if you are currently listening to this podcast and you work here and you aren't sure whether you are sales or sales support, then we have an issue. Like there is no other job at 5-star. You either sell things or you support the people who do.
Yep.
That's period. We're a sales first organization. I'm going to talk about it until I'm blue in the face. Yeah. I'm going to talk about it till the end of the days. We have to have the mindset that we have a consumer, they need our product and service, and we have to go out and offer it to them. One of the big things we've been talking about a lot is this idea that if you went to a restaurant, Jared, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Have you ever gone to a restaurant?
Many times.
Okay, good. Check. Okay, so far we're on pace. Have you ever gone to a restaurant with an idea that you were going to order something, and then the server came by and you were looking at the menu, or maybe they talked to you about a certain thing that was new or a special, and you changed your mind and ordered something different?
Yeah, especially when I hear the specials.
Okay.
They're selling it for a reason.
So I hear a lot from our frontline employees about our price book and whether it's good or bad. Okay. And I think that it's probably both. I think there's some products in there that are priced perfectly, and there's some products in there that are one way or the other, high or low. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good our price book is if our customer never sees it. Yeah. And unfortunately, unlike a restaurant, so basically what we often do and what our frontline employees do, and I don't think they do it with malice. It's just a function of the human brain. They go into the house, and it would be like going into a restaurant and being like sitting down. And now, of course, you're expecting the server to bring you a menu, and the server goes, "What do you want?" And you go, "Well, can I look at a menu?" And they go, "Nope." Right? And you're like, well, I guess I'm in a steakhouse, so I can assume they have steak, but I was kind of hoping to hear if they had like a surf and turf, but I guess I'll just order a filet. And so, or I'm in a Chili's, so I was going to get the fried chicken sandwich, but I was kind of hoping to hear if they had a special burger of the month or something, you know? And so it's like we go into the house and we don't put a menu in front of the customer, and then we wonder why they didn't order anything.
Yeah. Yeah, great analogy. And also I just think about the average person is more familiar with a menu of food items than what they need for their home.
100%.
I mean, prior to working at a home service company, if you asked me for my home, what types of products I would need for more comfort, I would have no idea.
No idea. And it's beyond comfort. It's what about safety?
Safety,
right? Yeah. What about longevity? And so what it really comes down to is if we can't break the mindset that the only thing I should be doing in that house is solving the problem that they actually asked me about, then I'll be honest, like this company is going to stay exactly where it is or even go backwards. We have to have the mindset that our consumer base called us for a reason, and that they are the type of person who has zero interest in ever knowing anything about the mechanical systems of the home. And again, I've talked about it a million times. Most of our people are on the opposite end of that spectrum.
Yeah.
And so they, I think, have a hard time closing that gap in their mind. And I just encourage you more and more, like, try to have empathy and understanding for the type of people you are seeing every day and how different they are from you. They are nothing like you. When their stuff breaks, they never think, I'm going to try to fix it. They literally think, I better find the expert who can help me. And they want you to tell them how they can prevent you from coming back. I don't care how good of a relationship you have with that customer. We service tens of thousands a year. I would be willing to bet none of them are inviting you to Thanksgiving dinner. None of them expect you to show up on Christmas morning to open Christmas presents. You're not a part of their family, and they don't want you back in their house next month. They don't, if in a perfect world, they want you to provide every possible solution to extend the time they have to see you again by as long as humanly possible. But we get into this mindset like, well, if it was my house, all I would do is fix that one problem because I have the skill to fix any problem in my house anytime I want. And so to me, if I wake up on a Saturday morning and I have to fix something else, it's not a big deal.
It's part of my day.
But to that homeowner, you've just inconvenienced them today, and then a month from now, and then 3 months from now. And actually what happens is, and this is the part we don't think about, what actually happens is you solve only the problem they asked you to solve. Then the other problem that is definitely going to happen, and you even probably saw it, but didn't tell them about it or didn't educate them enough. When that breaks, they go, well, that 5-star team did not do a very good job. I'll call somebody else.
Yeah.
And we lose customers because of it, but we don't tie those two events together. And then we wonder why we don't have enough calls on the board.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's always the last person in the house that gets that blame too. So because we're not identifying other problems. And you mentioned, I mean, one of our core values in that, the expert. Like, I read a book called Challenger Sale a long time ago, and that's really what that book is about, is just being the expert and knowing, like, your customer called you because they don't know. Mm-hmm. And it's our responsibility to be that expert and tell them what they need to know.
100%. And, you know, we had an onboarding group this week. And one of the employees went out on a ride along as part of their onboarding, and they came back and they had a very interesting experience. A plumber had gone to a house, and we solved a problem, and then there was another problem 3 days later. Well, what do you think the customer thought? That they were related.
Sure.
And no matter how much the plumber now that was in the house tried to convince them that they were unrelated, to them that's not how it works. And here's the deal. The original plumber didn't do a full inspection. They solved the one problem. So they did not go look at that other appliance. They never even looked at it. If they had, they would have clearly seen that there was wear and tear on that part. And if they had gone to that consumer and said, here's what you absolutely have to fix today that you called me about. By the way, I went and checked on X appliance. X appliance is needing to be repaired as well. Here's what that looks like. Now, if that customer has a failure, if the customer says, hey, Jared, all I want to do is the bare minimum. Okay. But now when the customer calls us back, guess what they're not doing? They're not tying the two things together because we told them, hey, listen, these two things have nothing to do with each other, but I'm here. I'm a plumber. I looked at every plumbing thing you have in your house. I went out and looked at your sump pump. I went out and looked at your well. I looked at all of it. And when I did, I discovered X, Y, and Z. Because we didn't do that, this customer has a bad taste in their mouth. We had to discount significantly just to try to convince them to stay with us. And I would be willing to bet they probably don't call us back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very unfortunate because, I mean, I haven't even really thought like that too. It's just like, had we identified the issue and presented it the way you said, then when they are ready to get that fixed, they're going to be like, well, 5-star is the one that identified the problem. And they didn't try to oversell me on it.
Again, it's not about selling.
Yeah.
It's about being good stewards and being the expert. If I come into your house and you called me for a water heater and the sump pump is 8 feet away, and I don't take 5 minutes to take that sump pump cover off and inspect that sump pump, I have failed that homeowner. And here's the deal. There are a few people who go out in the world every day and they do this amazing. And you know what happens? They say, this is what you absolutely have to fix today if you want to get your thing going back the way you want it. Here are some things you really should consider based on that. And then here's some things you're going to want to consider down the road. Here's what happens. When the customer chooses this, and then the next column, this stuff starts to happen, just like we said it would, it creates this they come back and they go, I've heard the calls. They come back, they go, hey, Jared, I'll never not believe you again. Just do whatever you need to do. And now we have a 5-star fanatic who just says, here's the check, you fill it out, because they trust us now. And it's the opposite. Most of our technicians think they are earning trust by not telling the customer things that are wrong because they don't want to oversell. You're actually doing the opposite. You're actually creating the opposite problem that you think you're solving.
Well, Christian, just kind of thinking about the past month, let's talk about at least, a kind of behind the scenes story that, did make us feel good and showed, our core values true to heart.
So I'm actually gonna give you a couple.
Okay. Cool.
But I'll try to keep them short. So one, he gets shouted out here a lot. George Walters. I mean, just the pinnacle of what we're trying to do here. Yep. He went out into a call, found a situation where a company was turning a outing space from one to another. It was going to become a space where people who had lost their children could go for like a quiet retreat and like have a place to mourn the loss. And so we were able to come alongside this organization, this nonprofit, and provide a lot of support for them and help them get their space up and running. Also shout out Garrett from the call center. Garrett was talking to a gentleman who is a customer of ours across multiple properties. And one of his properties is a treatment center here in Columbus that he's trying to get off the ground. And so aligned with us quite a bit. So he reached out to me directly and said, hey, would you mind? That then led to a conversation I had with him in which I was able to find out that we had done about $15,000 or $20,000 worth of work at his recovery center, and we just gave it all back to him and said, I'll give you all the money back if you promise to use the money for something else inside that recovery house that you need to get done. So he's going to do that. Awesome. And then he ended up coming out. His name is Jacob, great guy. He ended up coming out to Emerge, and I was able to introduce him to Rachel and Kip, and now they're going there to do a tour of his place, and there might even be a future potential opportunity for partnership.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so that's really cool. And that's both on the profit on purpose side. Internally, I do want to shout somebody out specifically. So, we this week our new CFO Josh Bell started. So welcome to the team, Josh. Hopefully everybody gets a chance to meet him. Also a great guy. I've had a chance to get to know Josh over about a year, and he just fits us really well. This is one of those things where when you are at this organization, sometimes we have to make changes, and those impact people here. And I had to go to Tom, our controller, and tell him that I think I need to bring a CFO in. And that meant that I was bringing in his boss, and Tom could have reacted any which way. A lot of people, I've had this situation before, not specifically accounting, but just that situation where I say, hey, I think this is where we are, and I think for us to get to here, we need to bring this person in. And I've had people react very poorly. I've had people quit. I've had people get upset. And Tom handled it with the professionalism. He welcomed Josh to the team. We need both of these people. This is not an either or situation. We need both of these people, and they both have a skill set that is slightly different. Here's the deal. Matt Musselman and I work really well together because we're not the same person. Yeah. Okay. And so we both have, Matt has skills that I don't have. And he's great at what he does. And so I needed to bring somebody in that could assist Tom. And I just want to shout Tom out. He handled it the way a professional handles it, which is without emotion. And he did the right thing. And he welcomed Josh to the team.
Awesome. Well, shout out to Tom. We appreciate you, and you've done so much over the year or so. I think he's
almost a year. Yeah.
Almost a year. Yeah. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Great guy.
Great guy.
What a great guy.
What a great guy. I'll get him a koozie.
Yes. So, Christian, I know we've talked a lot about some of the tougher times of August and how there is some correction in order, but we are aware and we need to just 1% better every single day. And that's kind of where our core value, relentless, comes in. Where did you see that spirit at least show up in August? Are there any situations where at least, we were relentless, or do you have any advice going into September where we can demonstrate that on the field?
Yeah, I think where it showed up in August was we did take our eye off the ball for a minute.
Yeah.
And again, shout out to Brian Carnahan, because he owned it, he recognized it, and he made the adjustment. He made the in-game adjustment, that you need to do sometimes. And he became relentless in his pursuit of sales across the organization. Yeah. And he had a willingness to jump in and help anywhere. Whether Brian Carnahan is our HVAC sales manager, his responsibility is over making sure our installers have work tomorrow. And he jumped in to help service technicians. He jumped in to help plumbing, whatever it took to get us the revenue in here that we needed to reach the goal. And so Brian Carnahan is an example of that. The relentlessness we're going to need to start to push for in September is this. This is a head trash thing that we deal with every single year. People are going to start getting put on more checkups. More of our membership calls are going to start filtering in as the weather shifts. And if we see a checkup or a membership call as simply an opportunity to go tick the box and leave the house, then again, we're going to stop. We actually should just not even show up, because we will make more money if we don't run the call than if we run it that way. Sure. We have to go in with the mentality that we must find opportunities to talk to our customer about humidifiers, IAQ on the HVAC side. We have to find opportunities to talk about other things that they can do in their home that can help them. On the plumbing side, we have to look for opportunities to offer accessory items and talk to our consumer base about some things that could make their lives better. And we can't see a tune-up or a membership call on the board on our next call and roll our eyes and roll up to that house annoyed. We have to get into the mindset that this customer wants us here. You think about the type of person who pays a monthly membership. That's a person who wants their house running at optimal performance. Mm-hmm. So tell them how they can get there.
Yeah. We have this really cool product called ShipShape that inside the home, and I actually got to experience, the install process because we were at Cindy and Michael's house the other day. Yep. So I got to check that out. And it's really cool technology and for preventative measures and allowing us to know what's going on inside the home before situations and emergencies happen. It's great.
Yep.
What's one thing you're most excited about going into this season? And I know we've discussed a little bit, but what keeps you up at night?
Yeah. So what I'm most excited about is getting back into that. I love the grind. I love the day-to-day grind. I know it's not for everybody, but for me, this is what drives me. I love being what I get excited about is the creativity that we get to play with right now, because you don't have to be very creative to be pretty successful when it's 95 degrees outside.
Yeah.
But when it's 47 degrees at night and 60 degrees during the day, when there's no rain in the forecast, when there's no wind in the forecast, that makes for tough days in the home service business. And so I love the creativity that we get to play with. I'm super excited for our Ohio State partnership.
Yes.
And to see what kind of fruit that bears. And then, what keeps me up at night is I feel personally responsible for not only the 210 folks that work here, but I feel personally responsible for the probably 600 to 800 individuals that rely upon 5-Star to provide them with the money they need to pay the bills, to pay the mortgage, pay the rent, to take care of family. And I take it very personally, and that literally keeps me up at night. I think about payroll, and I think about if I can't motivate these folks to do these little things, we are going to be at risk of not being able to support these 800 or 1,000 people. And that's a heavy weight, and I carry it with pride, but that does keep me up.
Yeah, it's very evident your passion to drive the business comes from your heart of, caring about the behind the scenes of like these people have lives.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, if anybody ever wants to come and hang out with me, like you'll see, like I don't live a lavish lifestyle. I'm not getting rich off this business. I truly want every single person at this place to build equitable. I want this to build us equitable wealth. Nothing makes me more excited than a new car in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Not my new car, a new car for an employee.
Yeah.
Nothing gets me more excited when I hear about Sarah Burns talking about going on a vacation for the first time in however many years, her and Billy. Like, that kind of stuff is what gets me fired up. We can only do that stuff if we do the little things. And I don't know how else to say it. The only way we can continue to provide lifestyles and continue to find the next level for every single. I toured an apartment with an employee, that was considering it. And that gets me excited, right? That they have the means to do that. We don't get to do that stuff if we aren't doing the little things in the home and providing a value to our customer.
Yeah. And it's those little things. Everyone doing the little things adds up to a big thing.
One team, one goal.
One team, one goal.
Everybody doing their part is what gets us there.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to share the wealth equitably.
Sure.
That's why you'll see that nobody at this organization, even our owners, nobody is getting wealthy, like crazy rich. Everybody, we're trying to spread it out as evenly as possible so that everybody can partake in it.
Yeah.
And if that's not evident based on how that, because I'm a big believer in don't talk about it, be about it. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Show me.
Sure.
Demonstrate it. Do something. I got managers walking around here carrying $100 bills, just passing them out to people who are doing the right things.
Yeah.
Like we are doing things to show people. I say it every single quarter. I will say it on this podcast again. If you work here and you don't feel well taken care of, you come see me and we'll figure it out. Now, the first thing we're going to do is look at your performance. Okay?
Which is fair.
Because it's got to be a two-sided street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're performing and you want to get to the next level, we will come up with a plan to get you there. It might mean taking on a new job, might mean taking on some new responsibilities. But if that's what you want, let's find it for you.
Yeah, and that's very evident if you look at your coworkers and you'll see people get moved up to supervisors, managers. I mean, a guy like Mo, for example, stepped it up on the field and stuff, and now he's in management position.
Right.
So there was a position that needed to be filled, and he took on that responsibility. Brian Shade, same example. Shout out to Brian Shade.
Shade is doing both of them are doing a great job.
Yeah.
Brian Shade, though, I don't think our electrical division has been this productive in a while. So it's awesome.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah.
So, so Christian, if we weren't doing this company podcast right now, we were just all together at a barbecue, grilling steaks. What's one personal story from the summer you just would like to share?
Yeah, this one caught me off guard because I didn't actually know there was a second page.
We do a little preparation prior to this.
I never flipped to the second page. So what's the story from this summer? So what I've really enjoyed this summer, honestly, so this summer, the two, of my four daughters, the two that still live at home, the 13-year-olds, almost 14-year-olds, they're twins, great kids, amazing young ladies. They're becoming amazing. They're going to be amazing women. But they, as 13-year-olds, and they have this really tight group of 6 or 8 girls that they're really tight with. And every day they had the ability to just get up and they got on their bikes and then they'd be gone all day. And we might see them 6, 7 o'clock at night. Now we track their location and, they're good kids. And we live in an area where we feel pretty safe about them being out. And again, when they're in a big group like that, I don't worry about them too much. But man, what an awesome thing. They were just like, I worked a lot and grinded a lot, but getting to kind of live vicariously and come home in the evening and hear about what their day was like. And, went to the pool, went to Starbucks. And I'm like, man, what an awesome life you're living. Good for you. But, it harkens back to the days when I was that age and I would get up and get on my bike and ride to the lake or to the, we had a community pool and hang out with my friends all day and just be out until all hours of the night until we played flashlight tag at 10 o'clock at night, fighting the mosquitoes. And so just watching them live that that ideal, that 13 to 14-year-old summer, I think nothing better,
Nothing better.
Because you have no responsibility, but you have just enough maturity that you can go do stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've built enough trust with your parents too, where they're like, you'll be okay. And
right.
I mean, when we had this was before cell phones and things.
Right.
my dad would just whistle. He literally would
Yes.
whistle, and I
Yes.
would hear it in the neighborhood and be like, okay, time to go home.
My thing was like, do you remember having like the phone in like the kitchen and it had like the list of all the phone numbers next to
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
So my mom would like call like 6 different houses to figure out like where we were.
Yeah, that's
And then be like, will you tell Christian to come home for dinner or whatever it was?
final question.
Yes.
So Christian, I know we do have some really awesome like company like team build events coming up. Just would you like to kind of share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I probably should have prepped for this one because I don't have the dates. You can fill in the dates. Or
I got
something.
it. Yep.
But we have 2 big events in September. We have the movie night here in Pickerington or Canal Winchester, right out here by the office, and then we have the movie night at Emerge. And everybody's welcome to both. Really going to be awesome time. We have great food trucks. We have great family dessert type food trucks, so like ice cream and that kind of stuff, Kona ice or whatever it is. And then like I think they're getting some activities. There'll probably be cornhole boards. Sure. It'll be a fun time. Listen, there's not going to be any speeches. There's not going to be any. It's nothing. But let's get together and just enjoy some time together, and let's meet each other's families and kids and spouses and celebrate. And I hope that everybody tries that can make it comes. I do. I mean, I hope so.
Have we made public what movies we chose?
We are still,
Okay.
I believe they're still, so I know that The Sandlot is getting a lot of love, and I can't remember what the other one is, but we put it out to the company.
Yeah.
They're picking.
Yeah.
I mean,
the deliberation process has been really interesting because it's like everyone's got that one
Right.
movie they just love.
and it's tricky because you got to find something that is entertaining,
Yeah.
but is safe for all ages.
Sure.
But it's not boring.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to put Caillou up there or some nonsense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not that that's a movie. It's just the most annoying kids show.
I
but
wanted The Matrix and I got shut down.
Yeah,
so
Matrix,
yeah,
fine,
probably
I
not The Matrix.
we've started with a list of like 50 movies and we've whittled it down. We had some funny suggestions for sure, but I think The Sandlot's a good one. And I think what's the one Matt's pushing for one. Maybe you could ask him and filter that in here, but he was pushing for one and Olivia was very much against it. So,
wow.
And then we are planning the end of year
Yep.
event. So we are going to have an end of year event. If you're from Columbus and you haven't been to Emerge in a while, it's going to be catered by Miguel's Tacos, which you will absolutely love. They're amazing. And if you love tacos, and I think we're working on getting some pretty awesome speakers and and again, that day is going to be a mix of education around the year, education around 2026, celebration of the team, and literally celebration of let's take the afternoon and have fun together. And one thing that I'm looking to add to the very popular cornhole tournament, the very popular ping pong tournament, is for all you, because I keep listening to the podcast, you know what I keep hearing consistently? Gamers.
We have some gamers.
We have a ton of gamers. So I talked to Sarah, and I said, if I could get us like, I don't know, Xboxes or PlayStations and TVs, and we set up like a section, could you set up like a tournament style gamer thing? I don't, because again, like you hear me talk.
Yeah.
My extent is I play that Nintendo you gave me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
we've gotten that.
I don't think that's going to be the thing, although that could be fun.
That might be fun.
I could bring it.
I could help with a lot of this. I mean, I would love a Super Smash Bros. Tournament.
Whatever you guys, I have no.
I'll take the reins.
I have no idea. I told her about it. You guys can talk about it, but I think it's going to be a super fun day.
Yeah.
And that one is the movie night is completely voluntary. No, not voluntary on the on the all company meeting. That's just a day we're all going to get paid to have a nice time.
And you don't want to miss it anyway.
No, it's going to be great.
It's a wonderful time. I've been now 3 of them, and it's always been great.
Yeah, they're fun.
Cool. Well, Christian, thank you so much,
Thank you,
man.
Jared.
This is the August recap, guys.
Went way too long, as per usual.
Too long, but hey, if you are watching this right now, it's most likely your name is on a list, and I am going to be contacting you about being a guest on the podcast.
I was just not sure what kind of list you were talking about.
Wait,
it sounded kind of ominous at first.
It's a happy list.
Okay.
It's a happy list. No, seriously, if you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, we would love to have you on. And we just want to thank everybody for all the hard work, and we'll see you next time.